For this presentation, I will be talking about normal distributions and z-scores. What does normal distribution mean? Normal distribution, also known as bell curve, is the order of a set of data. The curve of the graph is symmetrical on the two sides beside the middle, as you can see in this photo. The mean, mode, and median are all equal to each other. What does normal distribution look like? In the image on the right, you can see this is what the shape of normal distribution looks like. The mean is located in the center of the graph at the bottom here. 50% of the values lie below the mean, which is from here to here, and the other 50% lies above the mean, which is from here to here. 68% of the values are within one standard deviation of the mean, as you can see here. 95% of the values are within two standard deviations of the mean, from here to here, and 99.7% of the values are within three standard deviations of the mean, which is from here to here. An example of a normally distributed set of data. 2,000 students take a history test. The scores were normally distributed with a mean of 85 and a standard deviation of 5. Now let's say I want to find the percentage of scores between 75 and 90. To do this, I take 95 and subtract 68 from it, which equals 27. I divide that by 2 and get 13.5. Lastly, I add 68 and get my answer, which is 81.5%. We do this because two test scores are in the 68%, which is here to here, and one is in the 95% over here. And each of these is broken down into percentages. What are z-scores and how do you calculate them? Z-score means the number of standard deviations from the mean that an element is. In order to find the z-score, you need to figure out the mean, standard deviation, and variance. Once you find these three things, you take a raw score from the data and you subtract the mean from it. Then you divide the answer by the standard deviation, as you can see over here where the formula is. An example of calculating z-scores with data. The test scores of students in biology class were 40, 52, 60, 62, 68, 72, and 78, and the standard deviation is 13. Calculate the z-scores of the data. To find the mean, we add all the scores up and divide by 7, which is the amount of scores we have. This equals 61.7. Then we subtract the mean from the raw score, and with that answer we divide by the standard deviation, which is 13. And over here you can see my work for each of the scores. Finding the probability of the previous data set. Now let's say I want to find the percentage area between a z-score of 0.02 and a z-score of 1.25. I find the area of each score first. The area of 1.25 is 0.8944 and the area of 0.02 is 0.508. Then I subtract the two and get 0.3864. I multiply that by 100 and get 38.64%. Over here you can see my work and the formulas for each of the problems. The two professions that need to know normal distribution and property are market research analysts and meteorologists. For a market research analyst, they have to use data and statistics all the time. They make graphs and charts from this information and also have to conduct interviews about the market and see how everything is going and pay attention to their competition. It's a big part of their job, which is why they have to analyze these things and use probability and normal distribution. For meteorologists, they have to forecast the weather, which is basically predicting what the weather is going to be. Technology also helps a lot with this to figure out what they should say and what is predicted to come. This helps especially when trying to see when a hurricane, tornado, or any other natural disaster is going to hit and how long it will last. These two jobs are just two of the many that use statistics and probability in their everyday job.